All right, fake news. CNN's credibility continues to be called into question. Today, during an interview on the liberal network, President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, called out the entire network for their blatant bias. Watch this.
Does the president ever get the benefit of the doubt with you, Chris? Ever?
Rudy.
Or on this network, which is disgusting?
I would tell you something. I think he gets the benefit of the doubt much more often than you give credit for.
Do you know that most people think that I'm crazy to come on here? That it's so unfair to the president? That
do you think this interview has been unfair?
Yeah, I do.
You think this interview has been unfair?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I don't think you've given me a chance to explain how unjust this case is. I don't think you've given me a chance to explain the basis of it with the FBI report that was faulty. The FBI report that came to the conclusion. I don't understand how a man can be prosecuted when you come to a conclusion and do anything wrong. I mean, how can you investigate a man where you come to a conclusion and do anything wrong? You guys never, you didn't even play up that part of the report.
Now, Rudy Giuliani's right. Fake news CNN basically never gives this president a fair shake. They never will. They're not even honest about it. Now, for example, earlier this week, CNN Trump hater, official Trump hater, supposedly a reporter, supposedly objective, Jim Acosta, he goes on Jimmy Kimmel Live and he said he was just as tough on Obama as he is on President Trump. It's not a joke. Take a look.
Are you their least favorite of all?
Probably, yeah. But, you know, as FDR once said, I welcome their hatred. I do. And, you know, listen, when I covered Barack Obama, I was just as tough on him. People might not believe that.
You were. They didn't like you either.
They didn't like me either.
Universally disliked.
I am,
everywhere
yes.
you go.
So how Acosta can actually say that with a straight face is beyond me, because the tapes don't lie. And our friends at the Media Research Center, they found this gem of Jim Acosta covering President Obama's inauguration in 2013. The only thing missing from the so-called reporter are the pom-poms. Take a look.
And obviously, this is the moment that everybody is waiting for on Inauguration Day, when the President and the First Lady step out of their limo and walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. You know, I feel like I should pinch myself right now, Wolf. I can't believe I have this vantage point of history in the making.
So you're literally, what, about 15, 20 feet away from the president?
I'm probably a good, I would say, 50 feet away from the president right now, Wolf. But very, very close.
Yeah, with Obama, he needs to pinch himself. And he says he's a reporter, says he's a journalist. No, he's a liberal activist. Be honest about it. Now, earlier I spoke with White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders about this and so much more. All right, Sarah, thank you for joining us. You know, you look at all of what I'm pointing out here, I don't think there's ever been a more hostile news media in the country than there's been to President Trump. I think it's obvious. It's so bad that there is 91% negative coverage, according to the Media Research Center.
It's unreal, the amount of negative coverage that comes from the media covering this White House, not just because it's so one-sided, but because there's so many good things that they could be talking about. The economy's booming, ISIS is on the run, remaking of the judiciary, getting rid of the individual mandate, the foreign policy and the relationships that this president has built. Every single day there's a good news story to tell, and yet 90% of the coverage is negative. Sean, one of the clips that I hope that you'll go back and watch that I think Jim Acosta also said from that interview was that he'd love to go one-on-one with President Trump. I just a little note to Jim, I think he should stick with going one-on-one with me, because President Trump is way out of his league, and I don't think he wants to take on that challenge, because he's definitely not going to win. I think that the media bias is out of control, and he's certainly one of the leaders of the pack.
If he wants to be an opinion person, I'm a talk show host, and as a talk show, sometimes I do straight news interviews, sometimes I give opinion, other times I moderate debate, sometimes I debate. It's all encompassing, but I tell everybody I'm a conservative. We still do a lot of, frankly, we break more stories than most of them in a week than they do in a year, in my opinion, and they've been wrong so often. Why does this continue in this sense? Every day I watch you. I don't know how you do your job. There's not enough money on this earth to pay me to do what you do. And it's actually gotten personal and abusive. And have we gotten to the point where maybe they should submit their questions in writing, hand back written answers, because all they're really trying to do is get a moment so they can show their audiences how tough they are, and it's really just it's showtime for them. It's not about getting answers.
Look, I do my job because I love this country, and I love getting to come to work every day and work for President Trump, who also loves this country and wants to do good things. You can block out the critics and focus on the people across the country that love the president, love what he's doing, and we try to spend our energy focused on those comments and the people and the voices coming from outside of D.C. and outside of New York and outside of the talking heads, because those are the people that really matter, and those are certainly overwhelmingly supporting President Trump and what he's done, and that makes it pretty easy to come to work every day.
You know, look at this week. The president was answering a question about the violent gang known as MS-13. It was obvious. The media ran with it, and then they ended up almost all of them having to retract it. There's a lot of retracting that they really need to do, though.
It's incredible. A lot of times you see the media just automatically assume the worst out of this president, which is really sad because, again, I think they're missing out on some of the most amazing things that are happening. He's had an incredible first year and a half, and they're missing it because they're so focused on being negative and attacking not just the president but everyone around him. And I think that's a real disservice to the country. He clearly was talking about MS-13 when he referenced the animals. And I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. I think he could have gone even further. These are some of the most despicable people that have ever walked this planet. The things that they do, the type of activity they engage in. Animal is the nicest thing I think that the president could have called them, and I hope he'll continue to call them out and continue to put pressure on every law enforcement agency and official in this country to bring them down and protect people across all over the country, and certainly I think he's done a great job doing that.
All right, Sarah, great job. I don't know how you do it every day. Amazing, and we appreciate you being with us.